Purnamidam Purnata Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya.
So, hello everyone. Today I'm having a conversation with Anu. How are you, Anu, today?
I'm super good today. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes. It's we've known each other for a long time. You have a long history with intuitive flow, yeah, because you came as a student and then you were taking class at intuitive flow, and then you took our yoga pranala teacher training, and then you became a teacher here. So you have a very long history with intuitive flow.
Yeah.
I think yes, and I think it's a place that you that is in your heart. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm super honored to be teaching in this teacher training for this studio because it's been my home for such a long time. And yeah, it feels to me somehow like really in the right alignment to be.
It's like the
logical,
the logical progression.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about maybe tell me what inspired you to become a yoga teacher.
Well, first of all, my first experiences of yoga happened close to 15 years ago back in Finland, and I've always been interested the spiritual side of life in so many ways. But I was living a Western life, a very busy life, having kind of a burnout, like so many people are. And I was yearning for a connection with the spiritual side of me and the body. So I needed something that will bridge it together. And I came across yoga. My first practices in Finland was Ashtanga yoga, which Ashtanga vinyasa. So it's a very physical practice, and it was a slow process to get into that. But once it started the process of transformation, it started transforming me. And then after a few years, I moved here in Bali. I remember seeing on the map intuitive flow before I moved here, and I was like, that's where I'm gonna go. And coming to your classes, doing yoga pranala practices were really transformative to me in so many ways. And it was kind of, again, like a natural continuum of things. Yeah, I bought it.
Can you
actually
tell me a little bit?
Can you teacher training for myself as a birthday gift?
Did you? That
Yeah.
was a good, yeah. Can you tell me a little bit more about the transformation, how yoga transformed your life?
I would say that in my case, it's been a slow transformation, or a transformation that's ongoing and flowing all the time. And then suddenly you notice that so many things have changed. I remember, for instance, one of my first yoga teachers in Finland said that you might just, lose interest in eating meat. And whether not making any ethical, statements about that, I was a little bit like, yeah, let's see. And then actually this happened. So it was a gradual process of like making better choices in life, making better choices in nurturing myself, taking care of myself, and also progressing in knowing myself better. But it's been, I would say that it's been a gradual process. But then moving here to Bali 9 years ago, it was 9 years ago.
9 years ago.
9 years ago when I came to the first classes, and there were profound shifts happening in me when I found yoga pranala. And without going any details into that, I noticed things about my physical embodiment that I wouldn't have noticed otherwise. And I realized that there's actually something happening here. And it was a lead for me. It was kind of intriguing me to follow further. So yeah.
Beautiful. So beautiful seed that was planted. Can you tell me a little bit about your teaching philosophy?
My teaching philosophy, I would put it into a container of first of all, allowing everyone to be themselves. That's what I'm big on. I'm big on authenticity, and also everybody having their own way of being in the practice, coming into that practice exactly as they are. As we often hear people saying when they come to yoga practice that I can't practice yoga because this and this, and there's like, I'm not flexible or whatever. There's a possibility for everyone to practice. And I really would like to emphasize on that aspect of yoga, that it is open for everyone. And also my philosophy is to hold the space for people to come into connection with themselves, with their higher self, with their essence, so to speak. So that it's not about me, or it's not about what anybody else is doing, but it is about, it's offering them a moment and a connection into themselves.
Beautiful.
And
Yeah.
then seeing what unfolds from there.
Beautiful. Yeah, so I know that you like to use props, yeah, in class.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain to me how you utilize props? Why it's important for you to utilize props?
Using using props is dear to my heart. Maybe because, now I don't want to make any Ashtangis angry, but when I started my practice with Ashtanga yoga, it's often recognized that there's no props. I am pretty short person. I have short limbs, and I found it extremely hard at times to really get access to where I'm needing to get the access to without the props. So so I'm often encouraging my students a lot to keep the practice more safe, and to really use them as a helper, because we can access sort of the right parts of the body when we don't have to struggle too much, whether we are touching the toes or whether the hand is reaching the ground or whatever it may be in any given posture. So first of all, to keep the practice safe for everyone, and also reaching the right parts of your body, because it is about sensing and feeling the alignment from within, rather than having a shape on the outside that looks like a certain thing.
Yes. You were talking about also safety. So what do you do to ensure that the safety of your students when you teach?
Well, safety is a really important aspect of sharing yoga, of sharing the practice and practicing. And there are a few things that I always mention in the beginning of the class, which are like, never ever tolerate any pain in your practice. There's a lot of ways of moving in this world where they say no pain, no gain. That doesn't apply to yoga. We all know that. But definitely avoiding that in any ways. However, it doesn't mean that we're not challenging the body. We are at times, but never tolerating any pain. And also, there's few indicators. As long as we can keep our breath full and our face relaxed, we're safe, pretty much safe. Because those factors are there. When they start going off, when we start compromising on the breath, or we start going a little, it means that we're pushing something too far. So staying within our own limits, or challenging them like in a moderate way, is important. And yeah, I think it's a huge aspect there. And also I think the breath is a good guide there. As long as we can keep the breath full, it indicates certain level of relaxation in the body, and that indicates that we're safe.
Beautiful. Can you talk a little bit about some misconception about yoga?
Pardon?
Some misconception about yoga.
Well, first of all, we all know the first thing that comes first is like, I'm not flexible, or I'm not strong enough, or all of these things that we hear. And I often reply into this, especially if someone says that they're not flexible enough. I'm like, good, because it makes it more safer. I remember starting my own practice. I've always been fairly flexible. I did some gymnastics when I was a child or young, but then I didn't have much strength, and I came to the practice very flexible, but not so much strength in the body, and that actually was a little bit dangerous. So it's better to be better to be on that side, so where we're not that flexible, but we will probably have a little bit more strength. But the good thing about yoga is that whichever aspect is sort of, I wouldn't want to say lacking or missing, but let's say that if we need strength, yoga develops strength. If we need flexibility, this is what yoga develops. So it develops whatever we're needing at that moment. And it is a practice. It's not a perfection. So so we don't have to be anything to come to the practice. We don't have to be something. We can come to the practice every day from where we exactly are, and practice from that space, and that's it.
Thank you. And do you have anything you want to say to our future teacher trainees or people that are considering joining Yoga Pranala Intensive? Do you have anything you want to say to them?
I would say that as it changed my life, it has a capacity to change yours as well in so many ways for the better, to gain more self-knowledge, and therefore also when we get to know ourselves better, we get a deeper connection to ourselves. We also shift the ways we are in the world. So first and foremost, of course, we're practicing for ourselves. But I believe that each of us practicing, each of us getting into the practice, we bring all of this through us into the world and making a world a better place one by one, student by student.
Thank you. And
yeah.
one last question. What is your favorite pose?
My favorite pose, I would say it's pigeon.
Pigeon.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me why?
Pardon?
Can you tell me why?
I think pigeon gives me a space to, first of all, dive into my hips. I'm just for my embodiment, it just simply feels good. I know you either love it or you hate it, but I happen to be friends with that. And it gives me a space of surrendering. It gives me a space of letting go quite often, while it also improves the flexibility.
Thank you. Do you have any final words?
Sorry?
Do you have any final words?
Final words.
Yes.
If you hear the calling to come to this training, please follow your heart. This training has so much transformational power, and yeah, to experience Bali, to experience authentically this culture, which Ibu Linda has a capacity to facilitate, is just life-changing. So yeah, I strongly invite everyone to join us, whoever feels the calling in their heart.
Thank you, Anu.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this conversation and this talk, and we'll talk again.